So the first thing I'm going to ask is, what is your name, your age, and how long did you attend KTA while you were here?
Okay, I am Michaela Souls. I am 17, and I have been attending KTA for technically 5 years. I was here in pre-K, and then I came back my freshman year and have been here all throughout high school.
My name's Janice Jackson, and I'm 18 years old, and I have been attending KTA since I've been in kindergarten.
My name's Braden Dane. I'm 17. This is my 9th year at KTA.
My name's Nicole Villagomez. I'm 18 years old, and I've been at KTA since 7th grade.
I'm Angelina Heath. I'm 18 and about 6 years.
I am TJ Barr. I am 18 years old, and I've been attending since 5th grade, so about 8 or 9 years ago now.
My name is Aubriana Feliciano. I am 17, about to be 18 in 2 weeks, and I've been attending KTA for 2 years.
I'm Joshua Kluwick. I'm currently 19 years old, and I attended KTA for 4 years, all of my high school career.
Awesome. So you were the one who made the first version of this video. So what were your thoughts on how all of that went and how you think this one will turn out?
So after making the first video, I was very proud of myself and my walk because it was something that I was very much called and led to do. And it wasn't the best quality video. As you can tell by this one, it's going to be upscaled a large sum. But I felt for the tools I had and for what God was leading me to do, I felt it was the perfect culmination of everything in His power for me to complete a nice project for the entire school to see. And seeing and hearing the work that you're doing, I'm glad to say it's in great hands, and I am very excited to come in and see really what you've done with the full culmination of this project, because I believe God has led you to do the same thing as it led me to do.
All right, so now the first main question I'm going to ask is, before you came to KTA, what was your faith like? So were you a Christian? Were you practicing or struggling with anything in that area?
Before I came to KTA, I always grew up in like a Christian household, so we always went to church, always went to youth group, and always tried to like volunteer and all of that. But I gotta say, my faith was mainly that of like my parents when I first came to KTA. It wasn't really my own just yet, like when I first came. So it was really like, I knew like what to say and the answers to the Bible questions, but I really didn't have a super like personal connection or relationship with God yet.
I didn't really know God. I used to go to church with my grandparents every weekend, but I was young, so I never really paid attention.
I grew up Christian, went to church, a lot of youth groups. That's really it.
I'd say I was definitely a Christian, but I was definitely struggling.
I will say that I just followed what I was told around me, and I was in a Christian environment around my entire life, so I always said I believed in God. And the struggles I was dealing with when I came to KTA was right after my parents separated, so having to deal with that and moving to a whole new school was a little stressful, but I got by it pretty well.
Since I've been here since like kindergarten, when I was younger, I didn't really understand kind of Christian and like God basically, so I really don't even know if it would be any of those options, to be honest, because it's not like I didn't believe in God because I knew about Him, but it was just basically like I was young and my parents kind of just told me about Him, but I really didn't actually think about what God was, basically.
I've been Christian my whole life. I grew up in the church, but my faith has been like up and down, kind of like a light switch. It's on and off all the time. I'm trying to fix that. It's not really going so well, but I guess that's also because of like the people I surround myself with. So I'm trying to like focus on myself more, focus on my faith more, and try and like get back on track with my faith.
So I would describe my relationship to God as a lukewarm Christian. We were living in a Christian household where we would go to church for, the normal times you go to church. So like, hey, Christmas service, Easter service, any of those special, services that related to a special event in Christianity, we would be there. And then we would go every once in a while here or there. And that was really most of my life until, even coming to KTA for my first about 2 years, I was very much still in that lukewarm Christian feeling where I was like, I believe in a God. I don't necessarily believe in the God, but I believe in someone, because my whole thought process was, if there's evil in this world, why would he just sit back and let it happen? But as of my junior year and my senior year, I've really come to terms with that he doesn't allow it. We were the ones who put evil into this world, and he does his best to use that evil and use whatever happens to us as lessons or guiding points to lead us to his path and to lead us to follow him. And KTA really brought upon that change with just some of the speakers and most of my peers that I've interacted with throughout my time here from my junior to my senior year.
What was the reason that made you want to come to KTA, and what made you want to stay here?
So I didn't really have a choice in where I wanted to go. KTA was my mother's option, but after my dad passed in 2023, we got adopted and started attending KTA, and then it just kind of went on from there. My mom didn't want us to attend any of the public schools because they're not good, and they're kind of bad out here, really bad. So I was all for it, just because I really just wanted to finish my education, graduate, and get my high school diploma.
I honestly didn't know about KTA before my mom told me. The reason I came here is just because my mom wanted me out of the public school system. I'd say what made me want to stay is just knowing that I'm much safer here than being in public school, and the environment was much better here than when I was at public school.
My old school, Moments, was pretty bad, and this school looked pretty cool, so I just came here.
I did first go to Grace when I was in preschool and stuff, and it was fine, but I feel like KTA has experienced different aspects of Christianity than Grace did, and I kind of feel like people are actually there to help you gather your faith, basically. And sometimes it does make me feel like my faith is being forced a little bit at KTA, but I'm gonna be honest, in the end, I feel like it ends up just being, I don't even know, a good experience, basically.
I came to KTA because my parents didn't like me in Grace Christian Academy. They thought I would get a better education here at KTA. And the reason why I stayed was because of all the friends I made here. I was given the option to leave about 2 years ago, and I decided not to, just because I already knew everyone here and I didn't want to have to make a bunch of new friends in the middle of high school.
The environment, for sure. I grew up with a lot of the people, so I just wanted to, for my senior year, rekindle those things.
Honestly, my parents just didn't want me to go to BB, and they had been to this school in the past, and so we came here again. But the reason why I wanted to stay was just all the different people I met and all the different relationships I made at KTA, and I really kind of just want to continue growing those relationships and continue growing in my faith as well.
Having graduated, is there anything about KTA that would make you tell people to come to KTA about? What's the main thing you would tell people about KTA to bring them here?
The main thing I would tell people to bring them here is that this really is a Christian-based learning experience. And not only do you get to learn about Christ and who he really is, you get to have teachers who want to pour into you constantly to learn more and to be closer with, and just to help you through your struggles that go on in life. I mean, I can name teachers that I've had from my freshman and my senior year who I've just been able to have conversations with, not necessarily about schoolwork, but about things that are going on in my life that have just helped me grow as a human being. So if you need a reason to come or to stay at KTA, that is the reason. Now there are many, not so perfect things about this school, but nothing's perfect. But I think that is the biggest reason to stay, and just the biggest reason to come is for Christ.
Was there a moment where you realized that you wanted or needed to make a change in your life, whether that was through faith, personal growth, or both?
I mean, I feel like I actually started to understand what God was in like first and second grade. But then once I started going into like my junior high year and kind of like 6th through 8th grade, I kind of pushed myself away from God because everyone else wasn't really involved with God, and I was like, what was really the point, basically? Which now I realize I'm like, that's kind of horrible that I thought that, because I feel like most people that I've known for like my senior year or anything, they come to God in their senior year because they're about to go to like college and like go on to their life, and like if they go into trades or something like that, and they need God to be like there for their plan and stuff. So I feel like the one time that mostly made me want to change is probably this year, to be honest, because I'm going out into like the new world, and I'm not gonna have my parents will be there, but I'm not gonna totally have them, and I'm gonna need somebody to like lead me on the way, basically.
I would say this was probably around my 8th and 9th grade year. I was just coming out of my, or I guess quote unquote coming out of my anime phase that I was going through throughout my 7th and 8th grade year, because around that time I was really trying to, I was forcing myself to be extroverted when I'm very well an introvert. And I guess being open about my interests was one way of me doing that, and I don't think that played out very well. I think there was better things I could have done, but around my freshman year is when I noticed, I guess, time moving on and the lives of my friends changing, and I kind of felt like I was stuck in the past. And I think at that point I was like, you know, I should probably actually improve myself. So I got a job at Walmart, and here I am now. I haven't done anything.
I'd say we've all had those moments, but there wasn't like one specific moment that I realized. I guess just over the years I've gotten more and more comfortable with the changing and like adapting to things.
There definitely have been times where I've like come to those moments. So like during my junior year, I was just kind of really running myself kind of ragged with like little sleep and a larger workload of, well, working part-time and then school and everything. And so for that, it was like, okay, something's got to give, because I can't keep on doing like staying up till 3 a.m. and then getting up at 5 to continue studying and stuff. And so I figured out like that change needed to happen. And then there's also been a couple chapels that really touched my soul and have brought to my eyes like, okay, I need to change.
I wanted to start being nicer to people and be like a better student and focus on myself and my grades.
After my dad passed, when my dad was alive, I wasn't really in a good place at all, like mentally and physically. I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. I was a little bit of a heavy drinker, and that wasn't really something that I knew my dad wanted for me or my mom wanted for me. So after my dad passed, I stopped all of those bad habits, and I told myself I was gonna focus on my junior and senior year, graduate, and just focus on my faith and my friends and just try and make the most of my life.
Definitely growing up and hanging around the wrong people showed me that I needed to change for the better.
I think depending on the season I'm in really determines whether I think I need to make a change. There have been multiple seasons in my life where I've been going through the motions, and I've realized that something within myself or something that I'm doing needs to change. One example I can think of is my senior year. There was a lot of things going on in the background. There was a lot of feelings of anxiety that I was having just because I guess it was my senior year. I wanted to go out with a bang, and I wanted to go out, you know, loving everyone and being loved by everyone. And I realized that was bringing too much onto myself, and that's not how we should live. We should really live for God and, you know, for God's love, because, you know, it's great and it's graceful. And once I'd realized that, I was like, all right, I need to make a change. I need to figure out what's going on, and I need to pray about it and really cement is what I'm thinking godly and is what I'm doing godly. And through that came my calling, you know. The one night that I'm sure some of you have heard about, it was a Wednesday morning, 4 in the morning. I remember it like it was yesterday. I live in the basement, so whenever a thunderstorm or a tornado happens, I don't hear anything. But for this night, for some reason, I heard it all. I heard the thunder, I heard the booms, and from there, you know, I sat up, I got up, and started typing away on my computer. The next thing I know, I wrote up a script, and by the next day, I had a plan, and we were doing this video thing. So really, it's not about the changes you need to make, but the changes God needs you to make.
We're gonna move on to the next section here. Is there a specific moment at KTA that sparked your faith journey?
I think one of the main things that sparked my faith journey this year was the chapels that Jay Peters would do, because I like the chapels that we do, but I like just praying and worshiping more, because sometimes I really need that, because worship music just like calms me down, and praying just like helps me with my life and gives me more closure and clarity in my life and in my mind. So I think those are what like really sparked my faith this year. Last year, I think it was probably after I shared my story in chapel when Tom Brands was interviewing me. That was really hard for me actually, but afterwards, it like kind of took a load off of my shoulders, and it like helped me a bit.
I would say definitely with the Mrs. Harmon's class, because she covered not just like what the Bible said, but also parts of the Bible or aspects that we really didn't cover like in Sunday school, so it was kind of nice hearing that. But I also gotta say, when I was playing for PC my sophomore year, he did this Proverbs devotional where like you would read a chapter of Proverbs, pick a verse, and give your insight on it. And he did that with like the basketball team, so like after practice or before a game, and that was just really a really good thing, because it not only brought community, it kept you accountable, but it was like a good plan.
When I did youth groups with my old computer lab teacher, and he was the reason I actually got baptized.
Probably just being surrounded by teachers who try to uplift you in your faith, for sure.
Again, I wouldn't say there was a specific moment, but there were moments that like made me comfortable in my belief in the Lord. Whether it was like teachers reaching out to me, or it was just being like in chapel or like around people that made me realize that like this is what I want to do, like God is who I want to believe in.
I would say kind of just the time I spent around my friends here and the people around. I just would not say it was a specific moment. It was just kind of the in general experience I had with the people I was around.
I sing for chapel, so I would probably say when I sing and everything. And there's also another thing that people probably would not like expect that would just spark someone's like faith or anything. But when I see like younger kids in the hallway and they'll like, someone will drop their books or something, when I see somebody come up and help them and not actually laugh at them, I like see like God running through them. And because there's like so many nowadays that people just like get bullied and everything. And I'm just, when I see somebody actually caring and taking the time out to actually help somebody else, I feel like that is like a moment that like sparks my faith. It makes me want to do something like that.
Besides my whole calling, my senior year, I don't think I really had that eureka moment where it was a big epiphany, a big shock, like, oh my gosh, I need to live for God and for Christ. It was more of just little things culminating and making you realize what you're supposed to be doing and who you're supposed to be living for. Like I can rattle off my friends, my close friends, Aaron, John, Clayton, White, and all of them, and Madeline, and some of the seniors who I graduated with. There would be little things that they would say or that they would do that would make me think. And then teachers like Mr. Miller, Mrs. Delgado, Mr. Dean, there would be things that they would say or devotions that they would lead that would make you question things. Maybe not the big picture things, but little things that when you put all together like pieces of a puzzle, you realize, oh, there is a picture and there is something really going on there.
Are there any people at KTA who helped guide you to change? And if so, in what ways and how did they help you?
I would say, again, mainly my friends around me. So Joss, Ben, when I was still friends with him, Jamie, when I was still friends with him, Seth, Gabe, all those people, they always stayed by me when I was at my lowest, and they just supported me at any point in my life.
My 5th grade teacher, Miss Marchakaitis, and Miss Perez, they all really helped me a lot and told me like the truth and not what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear.
I would probably say Mr. Silva, because he didn't just help me like with music, but he helped me like guide my faith basically. Because we actually used to do little like not music lessons, but we would kind of just come actually in this room that we're in right now, and we would do like little music lessons and just kind of play together like with the guitar and everything and the ukulele. And he kind of just always asked me like every single day, he'd be like, how's your faith going like this? Like he was trying to lead me in the right way. So I would definitely say Mr. Silva out of like probably everyone in the school.
There hasn't been like many people like personally like friends or teachers that have, but I know sometimes when I do get off track or when I just need a little encouragement, Gio helps me a lot with that, just because like he knows how I am. He's my brother, so we've had a lot of bonds like that, and he just like gives me any ounce of encouragement that I can use just to help me out. But he won't like pressure me to he won't pressure me to like be like, I don't know how to word it. He won't like pressure me into like getting closer to God or my faith. Like he tells me like, take it one step at a time, like just start with this and then move on to this. So yeah, Gio would probably be my biggest support system right now.
I would say a lot of like teachers that I've had, like PC, Mrs. Harmon, even Mrs. Doris, and then like there's others as well. But also just like students I've met, kind of like Elena Schultz, who doesn't go here anymore, and then May, she was an international student, and then like Eva and Abby and a lot of the seniors that graduated out last year, and a lot of other kids that I've also met that have either continued to stay or have unfortunately transferred to different schools as well.
I'd say Mrs. Doris, before she left, she was definitely the one person that I was most comfortable with. Her and Mrs. Harmon were kind of the people that if I was like falling off track, they'd, you know, sit there and pray with me and like be there for me. Other than that, I'd say my current friends, like Angelina, has definitely been a huge impact on me and my faith.
Probably like my current friends, they helped me like change for the better.
I would say definitely Angel, because like we are actually trying to make a podcast for like a Bible podcast, and it's been like leading me to my like faith and everything.
In a broader view, every single person I've interacted with. Now, what I mean by this isn't everyone I interacted with poured into me so well that I got to be where I am. No, every person I've met or encountered has given me new perspectives on different things. So whether it be someone I don't like, or whether it be someone that I am, entering a relationship with, or someone that I started hanging out with more, those people gave me new ideas of what I would want in a Christian environment as someone who is trying to become a new Christian. So I could rattle off names of people who gave me positive changes, but those people who may have been negative towards me, those people who I maybe have been negative towards, those people as well have helped me grow and change in many different ways too. So in a culmination, everyone here at KTA has helped me change just a little bit.
Was there a moment in chapel that you found really inspiring that still has an impact on you now?
Other than like the whole baptism with Sean last year, because that was definitely like a big moment for everybody, I'd say just the stuff with Jay Peters, like the whole worshiping, I think just being able to be in like the Lord's presence and knowing that, you know, I wasn't the only one that was struggling, like getting to hear everybody's different testimonies, their different backgrounds. I'd say that was like, I'd say the first chapel that we had with him, we were all kind of just worshiping and, you know, getting closer with the Lord. I'd say that was definitely the best chapel we've had.
The baptism, Austin, I think, when he got baptized, it definitely made me cry because like just felt like the Holy Spirit was in the room and it was really uplifting.
Probably the ones with Jay Peters. But not only like when he is like praying, but like when before he, like after he does worship, before he moves into his prayer, he like just says certain things that align with my life and where I should be going in with my life. And sometimes when Jay Peters is talking in chapel, I feel like it's kind of directed at me, even though he doesn't know me, but God like put him there to speak specifically to me. Like I feel like that sometimes, and that's how it is when I go to church sometimes too.
When like students here talk about their personal stories, like when Destin talked about his personal story a long time ago, and then there's just like a whole bunch of people that talk about their personal stories, and then it's like, oh, you can actually kind of relate to that because like you're almost the same age as them.
Probably the senior video from last year because I thought the project you guys put on was really cool and I love film. So seeing you guys doing that with a like what looked like an iPhone 4 camera quality, I thought that was really cool. And I thought it was well put together for what it was.
I hate to be the one to say it, but I really loved my video. It was my baby. It was my calling, my magnum opus, if you will. And there's nothing that beats a moment such as seeing your own work, and not just your own work for yourself, but your own work for Christ come to life. I mean, I remember sitting there, you know, front row, because I had all the seniors, if any of you remember it, all the seniors in the front row to watch the video, to watch their interviews. And just looking around and seeing the joy on their faces, seeing the intense listening, not only from them, but from their parents who were in there watching, the staff, the faculty, the younger generation who was watching. There is nothing, in my opinion, that just beats that, especially as the creator. And it has really given me a lot to pray about and a lot to want to do in the future. I mean, I said I wouldn't do this again, but here I am sitting in front of the camera for the guy who's doing it now, Nick, and now I'm very happy to be doing it. And you know, me and you, we got plans for the future.
Oh, I've got to follow.
We're not gonna stop with this. I mean, we're gonna go bigger. We're gonna try to ask as many questions to people to see what God is doing in their lives and what they feel God wants them to do. So yeah, if there was one moment from my senior year, it would have to be my chapel.
What was the defining moment where you wanted to give your life to Christ or strengthen your bond with him?
I would probably say this year definitely, because he kind of just, I've been starting to read my Bible more, and since I've been like, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna start my life by myself, I kind of need him to make the path straight, basically, so then I don't like go the wrong way. So that's, I would definitely say this year.
I've always had the drive for God, and growing up and realizing that I'm leaving for college like really inspired me to like become the person I want to be through him. And I think definitely like realizing that life is so short, I want to live it through him.
I'd say my birth mom passing away my like freshman year was definitely like the biggest moment for me. I didn't really think I was gonna honestly make it throughout these years, and like knowing that I'm a senior now, I have so much to look back at and like realize that I've grown a lot and I've like made it through these things, and I wasn't like alone. Like God was right there with me, like pulling me through it.
It was definitely in 7th grade when I got baptized. I was like tired of living the life, and then I wanted to get closer to God, so I did.
Probably when I got baptized, after it was about like a year, or like about like almost a year after my dad had passed. My sister was getting baptized, and she had told that to me, my mom, and my brother. And after she had said that, I started thinking really hard on that, and I was thinking about it for about like 2 weeks, because I wasn't sure if like this is something that I actually like wanted to do, or like something that would actually help me. So I prayed about it, I talked to God about it, I talked to my mom about it, and it actually pushed me a lot to get baptized. And after I got baptized, I made a promise to myself that if I did start falling back down in my faith, that I would try anything that I could to regrow my faith, or like at least like talk to my mom about that and see if she can help me with my faith. And I also, after I got baptized, it like, in a way, it made me feel like I had a stronger connection with God and with my dad, because my dad's been baptized like more than 10 times. Like he got baptized a lot just because like he felt like he really needed it. And when he did get baptized that many times, like you could see like my dad was a good Christian man, and he had a lot of Christian values, and that was something that he really wanted to push me, my brother, and my sister to be like. He wanted us to be good Christians and good in our faith. And so yeah, after I got baptized, that's what like I felt like that's what made a bigger, stronger connection with my dad.
I gotta say that it was that chapel this year when with like Mr. Peters, when we all just like came, and we just, if we wanted to sit on the floor, we could sit on the floor, and if we needed to stay, we could just stay. Like that was really a time where I'm like, okay, like I really gotta get serious.
Yeah. Can you describe like in detail what was happening and like on the floor and everything?
Well, on the floor, there were some people that were like on their knees or like on their hands. And then other times people were like standing, they were like holding on to each other. And then there was a lot of like emotions, and people were expressing that differently, whether they were more like silently praying, outwardly praying, or they were just like letting their emotions out through crying or through worship, or just through like how they moved as well.
Honestly, I'll just go out and say it. Probably the biggest thing with me wanting to change is kind of just experiencing more media, and I guess getting a different glimpse into other people's minds. So this could be stories from video games, movies, books, all that kind of junk. Just kind of seeing all that unfold and trying to apply it to my actual life. I think those moments are what really struck me to want to change myself for the better.
The moment I knew that I needed to do that 180, to do that, hey God, I know I've been here, but I haven't been here for you, was my junior year. I had done some stupid things to people I cared about, and I didn't realize the repercussions of my actions until way later. And it was about the end of junior year, going into senior year, where I realized that I didn't like the person I saw in the mirror, and I didn't like the way I was living because it was not Christ-like or Christ-centered. At that moment, I just closed my eyes. I was in my room. I was playing games with one of my friends, but I just took a quick silent break, and I just sat there, silence. Then I started praying, and I felt this rejuvenating energy, this rejuvenating life inside of me, it didn't give me an answer. Because I don't think God will always just look at you and be like, hey, this is what you got to do. But he gave me the energy to keep moving and to keep fighting to have that Christ-centered and Christ-like life. And that then is really when I decided that I was going to give my life to Christ and fully, and through everything I do, try to live as Christ-like and Christ-minded as I could.
Have you ever felt that you've doubted God's plan, and in what ways do you resolve that conflict?
Yeah, I would say that I doubt God's plan, honestly, most of the time, which I probably shouldn't, but I feel like that's how you grow, and that's how you like get strength from him. because I would say that there's some things that I just don't want to get rid of, I'm gonna be honest, and God like is telling me to like get rid of them and not go back to those things. And I just have to believe God is like doing this for the good for me, like the good reason. Like he wants me to go down the right path and stuff like that. But a result that I've been like trying to do to stay on the same path that he wants me to go on is I've been reading the verse of the day on like the Bible app and stuff, and I'll read like the whole chapter and everything, and like I'll actually try to understand it, and I'll write my Bible and stuff, so then that way I'm like actually trying to understand it and like seek out his word basically. I do doubt God's plan sometimes more than other times, but I'm like still trying to resolve that conflict right now. And when some things that I have found that have worked for me to resolve that conflict is just sitting in my prayer room and talking to God, just like away from everybody else, just to like clear my head and try and give me more clarity on like why I'm even here, or like why I'm following God in the first place. But sometimes when I do doubt God's plan, I try and like tell myself that this is where God wants me to be. This is the person he created me to be, and so I should be thankful no matter what.
It's hard going through things and thinking like, well, there's a higher power and he knows what I'm going through, like why isn't he changing it? But then reading scripture and debriefing my situations and realizing that God is in control and whatever happens for a reason.
Yeah, I doubted my plan and my future all the time, but I just trust in God and trust his plan.
There have been many times that I've like questioned or doubted God's plan, because I'm like, okay, like why did you do this? But to really, like how I deal with that, originally I did not deal with it well. Not well at all. I was very like angry with God. But over time, I've just kind of learned just to like surrender it to him, because there are things that I or anybody for that matter that we can't like fully understand God, because like he's eternal and we will die. And so we can't fully understand or explain why he does what he does, but we have to trust in his plan.
I mean, yeah, I've definitely doubted his plan. I mean, after like my mom died, and then this is a lot, but my birth dad also passed away this year. I'd say those definitely got me questioning a lot of things, like, you know, seeing my best friend's parents died, and I'd always sit there, compare myself to her, like, wow, how can she be going through that? And then, or how is she dealing with it? And then I got to experience it, and that was definitely like very hard, but I'd say like that made me realize how important my relationship with God was, and how everything does happen for a reason. He does place certain people in your life for a reason. He does, you know, let you go through these things for a reason, because I wouldn't be who I was, like who I am now today. Like I wouldn't want to go into social work to help kids that are going through the same things. I wouldn't be sitting here like as educated as I am about those things and as empathetic. So I'd say I've definitely doubted it, but just trusting and like praying that is the only thing that's really helped me through it.
Oh, every day. Every day I wake up and I'm really wondering, is this really what God wants me to do? Is this really what he's leading me to do? Because I feel like as a good Christian, that's what you're gonna do. I mean, even in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus doubted God's plan. He was like, is this really what I have to do? He was sweating blood while praying because he didn't know if this is what he was actually supposed to do. But honestly, that act of prayer, that act of sitting there in contemplation, it will really guide you through, hey, you are supposed to be doing this. Because at the end, Jesus was like, you know what? Let your will be done.
Is there a Bible verse that influenced your change and growth through this stage of life?
Yeah, Psalms 46:5. It says, God is within her, she will not fall. Knowing that he's within me gives me the comfort that I have somebody by my side 24/7, and he's always there for me.
Romans 5:8, which says, but God demonstrates his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. That has been my favorite verse for the past 2 years. After my dad died, I started, after my dad passed, I was like very angry at God for a long time, and I knew like that wasn't like that was God's plan for my dad's life, but that wasn't like where God was just gonna leave me.
I would say Isaiah 43:1-3. It says, I have called you by your name, you are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the river they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you, for I am the Lord your God. And I think that this kind of just changed my growth in like the stages of life, because he's basically telling you that we are him, like his, like basically, and he's there to protect us during like the hard times and everything, and that we basically, even through like difficult obstacles and everything, like he'll always be there to help us. But yeah,
It is Matthew 5:16, which says that let your light shine so others may see it and they may glorify your Father in heaven, which is basically saying like just fully like be a good representative of God and be a good like apostle, so that in like whatever actions you're doing, whether you're at work or you're hanging out with friends, or you're out in public, or you're by yourself, people can tell who you stand for and who you are for.
I've always been a sucker for the Psalms, whether it be the fact that it's poetry that you can, use as music. It has been some of my favorite guiding forces, especially knowing who the author of the Psalms are. My favorite, though, is Psalms 136:9. The moon and stars to rule over the night, for his steadfast love endures forever. I've always been a fan of space. I've always been a fan of the outer world, but in the Bible, when we normally hear talks about stars and about planets, it's not actual stars. It's about descendants, and it's about people in the world. So I take that as through the countless stars and the countless planets that exist in our system, or the countless people that we encounter, God's love endures through all, because he loves each and every single one of us, even if we don't love him. And that is something that I keep in my heart and my mind, because knowing that he loves me even in moments when I may not love him is so powerful.
Since coming to KTA, has life changed for you? And if so, in what ways and how?
I would say this is me strengthening my bonds with my friends. Time kind of just kept moving, and I was able to keep up with it because of them.
I met my best friends here. I don't know what I would do without them. They mean like a lot to me, and they're like my favorite part of KTA.
I would say my life has changed. because like I kind of had to like restart, which has its like perks and cons at the exact same time. But for me, I've just changed in like how I kind of like will hold myself and will like, and also just how like I study and how I prepare for like tests and quizzes, and really what's priorities in my life. Because my priorities that when I came here when I was a freshman are different priorities now that I'm a senior, which isn't always a bad thing. Like there's still some that have remained the same, but there are some that have changed as well.
Life has definitely changed. I've like realized that I want to surround myself with those who like better me and better my faith. And like not even like when I graduate, I know that I want to be around people that push me to get closer to the Lord and to turn to Him when I'm going through things, rather than like me being in a public school. I would never be the way I am right now. Like I don't think I'd be as strong in my faith just because I came here.
It's really hard also because like I've been going here for 13 years. So like saying, has it changed me? I feel like it's always, I mean, yeah, learning about God and stuff is a good way, and it has probably changed me and stuff. It's just ever since I've been in kindergarten, they've taught to me about God. So like, I feel like my growth in faith, I would say, changed. Not just like changing schools or anything changed, but I would just say, yeah, my growth from kindergarten all the way to like senior year, I would say it definitely like grew and stuff.
I think, well, my life really changed a lot throughout the span of my dad's passing and me having a mom. But I feel like after my mom started sending us to KTA, my life did change a lot more, because now that like I'm actually surrounded by Christians like throughout my everyday life, and some of these people I've actually like built strong bonds with. So I feel like now that like I actually have good teachers who are not only Christian, but they speak Christian values to me and to my peers. I feel like it's also drew me closer to God. And even though like I'm still struggling in my faith right now, I know that like I'm not only like here because my mom sent me here, I'm here because this is where God called me to be.
Life has changed for the better. I mean, man, I love this place. I've been back here twice since I've graduated. Now, both times were for this video, but I love it. I love the atmosphere. I love the teachers, and I love everything about it, and it really has, you know, impacted my life and made me a better person.
The last question I'm going to ask is to briefly describe your favorite part of KTA through a nostalgic lens.
My favorite part of KTA was going to Indiana for the soccer tournament my sophomore year and winning.
I definitely learned lost and gained a lot of friends, and this year has kind of just made me realize that like we're graduating, like we're about to be in the real world, and I couldn't have had like better people, like I said, especially Angelina, to get me through my senior year.
I think growing up with the same people for so long, definitely like watching them grow into the people that they are today.
When KTA will like come together, like all come together, whether that be like spirit weeks or like during the homecoming games and stuff like that, or like those chapels where like we all gather together.
When we used to go to Dairy Queen, and we would have like Dairy Queen trips where we would go there, and then we would also go to like Birds Park, and it would just be so fun.
In 6th grade, the school hosted a Six Flags trip for junior high and above. I think the time that I spent there, I just have so many memories I can go in detail about.
Anytime I talk to Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews is just like a really good man. He gives a lot of insight on my life. Whenever I ask him for advice, he's always there. He's always blunt about everything. He's always straight up, and he doesn't like beat around the bush.
Sitting in Mr. Dean's classroom through his wild and crazy stories about when he was a kid, and through his learning experiences, will always bring a smile to anyone's face and always have them questioning like, there's no way our teacher did this.
It's crazy to see how far everyone has came since I came here and how far I've come since my 7th grade year.
Blooper reel featuring Mr. Miller. Calm down.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer over here. No, seriously, dude, your nose is so red.
Yeah, I get that a lot. All right.
One of my favorite games. This is actually an Amori sweater. I bought this on Amazon. It costs like $20, but this is an official. It isn't cool.
Can you ask me the question again?
Yeah.
So like we can think about Ryan.
What?
I was just, I guess, quote unquote, coming out of my Screw you.
Make a change or needed to make a change in your life, but
Did y'all hear that? Vecna?
What are you doing? The movie's over. Go home.